Besides these, there was also a huge black tomcat in the room, sitting on a high taboret before the chess table, holding a chess knight in his right paw. Hella rose and bowed to Margarita. The cat, jumping off the taboret, did likewise. Scraping with his right hind paw, he dropped the knight and crawled under the bed after it. Margarita, sinking with fear, nevertheless made all this out by the perfidious candlelight. Her eyes were drawn to the bed, on which sat he whom, still quite recently, at the patriarch's ponds, poor Ivan had tried to convince that the devil does not exist. It was this non-existent one who was sitting on the bed. Two eyes were fixed on Margarita's face. The right one with a golden spark at its bottom, drilling anyone to the bottom of his soul, and the left one empty and black, like the narrow eye of a needle, like the entrance to the bottomless well of all darkness and shadow. Wolin's face was twisted to one side, the right corner of the mouth drawn down, the high, bald forehead scored by deep wrinkles running parallel to the sharp eyebrows. The skin of Wolin's face was as if burned for all eternity by the sun. Woland, broadly sprawled on the bed, was wearing nothing but a long nightshirt, dirty and patched on the left shoulder. One bare leg was tucked under him, the other was stretched out on the little bench. It was the knee of this dark leg that Hella was rubbing with some smoking ointment. Margarita also made out on Wolin's bared, hairless chest a beetle artfully carved from dark stone, on a gold chain and with some inscriptions on its back. Beside Woland, on a heavy stand, stood a strange globe, as if alive, lit on one side by the sun. The silence lasted a few seconds. He's studying me, thought Margarita, and with an effort of will she tried to control the trembling in her legs. At last Woland began to speak, smiling, which made his sparkling eye as if to flare up. Greetings to you, Queen, and I beg you to excuse my homely attire. The voice of Woland was so low that on some syllables it drew out into a wheeze. Woland took a long sword from the sheets, leaned down, poked it under the bed, and said, "Out with you. The game is cancelled. The guest has arrived." "By no means," Koroviev anxiously piped, prompter-like, at Margarita's ear. "By no means," began Margarita. Monsieur Koroviev breathed into her ear. By no means, Monsieur, Margarita replied softly but distinctly, gaining control over herself, and she added with a smile, I beg you not to interrupt your game. I imagine the chess journals would pay good money for the chance to publish it. Azazello gave a low but approving grunt, and Woland, looking intently at Margarita, observed as if to himself. Yes, Koroviev is right. How whimsically the deck has been shuffled. Blood. He reached out and beckoned Margarita to him with his hand. She went up, not feeling the floor under her bare feet. Woland placed his hand, heavy as if made of stone and at the same time hot as fire, on Margarita's shoulder, pulled her towards him, and sat her on the bed by his side. Well, he said, since you are so charmingly courteous, and I expected nothing else, let us not stand on ceremony. He again leaned over the side of the bed and cried, How long will this circus under the bed continue? Come out, you confounded Hans. I can't find my knight, the cat responded from under the bed in a muffled and false voice, it's ridden off somewhere, and I keep getting some frog instead. You don't imagine you're at some fairground, do you? Asked Woland, pretending to be angry. There's no frog under the bed. Leave these cheap tricks for the variety. If you don't appear at once, we'll consider that you've forfeited, you damn deserter. Not for anything, monsieur, yelled the cat, and he got out from under the bed that same second, holding the knight in his paw. Allow me to present Woland began and interrupted himself, no, I simply cannot look at this buffoon. See what he's turned himself into under the bed. Standing on his hind legs, the dust-covered cat was meanwhile making his bows to Margarita. There was now a white bow tie on the cat's neck, and a pair of ladies' mother-of-pearl opera glasses hung from a strap on his neck. What's more, the cat's whiskers were gilded. Well, what's all this now? Exclaimed Woland. Why have you gilded your whiskers? And what the devil do you need the bow tie for, when you're not even wearing trousers? A cat is not supposed to wear trousers, monsieur, the cat replied with great dignity. You are not going to tell me to wear boots, too, are you? Puss in Boots exists only in fairy tales, monsieur. But have you ever seen anyone at a ball without a bow tie? I do not intend to put myself in a ridiculous situation and risk being chucked out. Everyone adorns himself with what he can. You may consider what I've said as referring to the opera glasses as well, monsieur. But the whiskers? I don't understand, the cat retorted dryly. Why could Azazello and Koroviev put white powder on themselves as they were shaving today, and how is that better than gold? I powdered my whiskers, that's all. If I'd shaved myself, it would be a different matter,